This is the test review for Math96, Chapter 2. We'll do a couple of problems. It says justify and show the means by which you arrive at your answers for full credit. Make sure that you show me something. I know you're going to be using your calculator a lot, but I need to see something. Make sure your answers are labeled properly. Consider the data and the graph for the average home value in Oregon over the past decade. So what this table indicates is, on this first one, this is considered to be the year after, how many years after the year 2000. So this is actually for 2005, 2007, 2008, and so on. And this is the average home value. Now, I know it doesn't say so on this column, and it probably should, but it's not $188. And if you notice over on the graph, it says value times 1,000. So this really is $188,000, but if we use smaller numbers in the tables, it makes the job a little bit easier. We just have to make sure that when you answer the question, you'll go back to the meaning. And so here's what the plot looks like, something like that. And it says find the slope between 2005 and 2008. Now, I went ahead, and I do this a lot, I go ahead and label my columns X and Y, and that really, really helps me. So find the slope between 2005 and 2008. That's going to be this guy right here and this guy right here. So I've got 188 minus 150, and I've got 5 minus 8 on the bottom. Let me scoot this up a little bit. And I get an answer of negative 12.6 and some change, which I'm going to round off. I know the directions don't give you the rounding instructions. They will on the test, but I think it should make sense to you that rounding off two places is respectable. So I get a negative slope of 12.67, and that's between 2005 and 2008. And if you look at the plot, 5 is right here and 8 is here, and clearly it's negative. So the meaning is that during that period of time, and I could say that between years 2005 and 2008, the average home value decreased that much money per year. Okay, on B it says find the slope between these 2 years, 2013 and 14, and I basically did the same thing. I got the data out of the table, set it up, and I got a slope of 6. So let's look on the plot again. This is between 13 and 14, and clearly you can see on the graph that it's increasing. So my slope being positive makes sense. So the average home value increased $6,000 per year. Okay. On C, it says use regression to find a quadratic equation to model the data. Round the numbers in your equation to 2 decimal places. Well, it's just a matter of taking all those data points in the original table, plugging in your calculator, and kicking out this equation. So in case you can't see it very clearly, it's 1.31x squared minus 21.67x plus 303.59. And then it says use your equation. Use your equation, not the data in the table, but your equation, to predict the average home value in 2018. Well, before I do that, I have to think about what year after 2000 is 2018. And that's why I wrote this down over here. X is equal to 18 in this case. So I took the equation from up here in part C, I plugged in an 18, and voila, I get this answer over here, 193.97. Now again, keep in mind the meaning of this. This is thousands of dollars. So I went ahead and changed my value to actually answer the question, and the question turns out to be the answer turns out to be $193,970. On E, use your equation to predict the average value when the average value will reach $180,000 again. Now this one's different. This is not an X substitution. This is a Y substitution. $180,000, but notice what you have to do right over here. I can't put 180,000 because the thousands is already understood. So I have to just put 180. So I have 180 is equal to all of that stuff. Before I proceed, I'm going to have to take this 180 and subtract it from this side so that I can take the equation and have it set equal to 0. So when I do that, when I subtract 180 from both sides, I end up with 123.59 right here. Then to solve this, I'm going to use the quadratic formula. The quadratic, because this is where I'm solving for x. The quadratic formula is right here. I wrote it down. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. And all you have to do is plop the numbers in. So there's my b squared, a, c, and a. And then it's a matter of you putting the information in your calculator very carefully and figuring out what you get. And this is what I got, 17.1. Now, I don't know if that actually turned out to be exactly 0.1, but I went ahead and rounded it off. I'm talking about years. So I said then in Word, and I got two answers, by the way, this one right here and this one right here. And I have a notation here that I dropped this. Well, why would I want to drop this? Well, the question says, predict what happens in the future. Well, 5.5, according to my plot, is not what occurred in the future. I have to be out here. So that's why I can only use the 17.1. So my answer is, I know it's not a complete sentence here, but my answer is that this is going to occur at the start of year 2018. So and this gets kind of tricky, but remember on this plot, at this point right here, for the year 14 years have been completed. So from here to here is the year 14 something, but it's into the 15th year. So you just have to be really careful on how you present this. And then finally it says use the vertex formula, x is equal to negative b over 2a, to find the minimum home value and the year it occurred, the minimum home value. So if I go back to the plot, I'm talking about something right in here. So it should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 135 or something like that. That's my guess. So to do that, I'm just going to follow this formula. My b guy is this. Now remember, my b guy was negative. So when I say negative b, then it's going to change to a positive. There's my 2 and there's my a. And you just, use your calculator and figure out what that is. And after you get that answer, that's the x component. So you have to plug that into the formula, plug that into the original formula, and figure out what y is. You're going to be using your calculator to do this. So I get 135.592, which means that the value is, the minimum value is 135,592, and this over here is the year that it occurred. So I'm saying, somewhere during the first half of 2012. I'm going to stop there on this video, and then I'll make another one for the next part.